Good day, everyone. I'm Stephen Jan Ashley SG Felix from Group 8, and we are responsible in discussing the Lesson 8, which is curvilinear motion. What are the topic outcomes of our topic? Student must define curvilinear motion, differentiate curvilinear and rectilinear motion, introduce the concept of curvilinear motion, analyze the components of velocity and acceleration in rectangular coordinates, and discuss the flight of projectiles, and understand the equations required. So ano nga ba yung curvilinear motion of a particle? Translation of a rigid body has been defined as the motion in which a straight line passing through at any point of the body always remains parallel to its initial position. This definition requires that all particles of the translating body have exactly the same motion. Hence, in discussing curvilinear translation, the body may be assumed to be concentrated at its center of gravity and treated as a particle as in the case of rectilinear translation. So ano nga ba sinasabi dito? Basically, dito sa translation of rigid bodies or most commonly known as rectilinear motion, kunwari may dalawa tayong particle and yung particle na yon ay nagmo-move but it always remains parallel to its initial position. So that means habang gumagalaw siya, hindi siya lumiliko, hindi siya nagko-curve. Kabaliktad naman yon sa curvilinear translation. Kasi dito sa curvilinear translation, kunwari may dalawa tayong particles or tatlo man or ilan mang particles and habang nagmo-move siya, dumidiko siya. Dumidiko siya ng path, nagko-curve siya ng path. So, that explains the difference between rectilinear motion and curvilinear. In rectilinear motion, we chose the origin of the motion on the path so that the only magnitude of the displacement vector could change, but not its inclination. In curvilinear motion, however, the displacement vector will change in both magnitude and inclination. Our concept of velocity and acceleration must be extended to include both these changes in displacement. We shall find that although the velocity is always directed tangent to the curved path of the motion, the acceleration is not tangent to the path. So yung sinabi dito na velocity is always directed tangent to the curved path, napakagandang concept niyan dito sa curvilinear motion or dito sa buong chapter since magagamit natin siya all throughout the discussion. So, sinasabi din dito na sa in rectilinear motion, um, habang nagmo-move yung dalawang particle na in-example ko kanina, naiiba yung magnitude ng displacement niya, but not the inclination. Bakit nga ba? Since sabi ko nga kanina na sa rectilinear motion, nagmo-move lang siya into straight path. So that means hindi nag-iiba yung inclination niya compared sa curvilinear motion na habang tumatagal, naiiba yung magnitude nung displacement niya as well the inclination. Why? Since sabi nga kanina na yung curvilinear motion is nagmo-move siya, kunwari lumidiko siya, nagmo-move siya into curved path. So ayun yung nagiging cause kung bakit naiiba yung inclination sa curvilinear motion. So, para mas ma-visualize natin siya, nag-provide ako ng drawing. So, sa rectilinear motion, di ba sabi natin kanina na sa rectilinear motion is, may dalawang particles and nag-move siya into a straight line. Nag-iiba lamang yung magnitude ng displacement but not its inclination. Kung titignan niyo yung drawing, kuwari yung dalawang bilog sa loob ng rigid body ay nagmo-move into a straight line. Kung titignan niyo yung dalawang vertical lines na nilagay ko, which is yung blue, parallel pa din sa isa't isa. So that means, na-explain nun kung bakit sinabi na kahit habang nagmo-move sa rectilinear motion ng straight line, hindi naaapektuhan yung inclination niya. Kasi nagmo-move lang siya into straight path. Compare dito sa curvilinear motion, kung titignan niyo pa lang siya, 'di ba, yung motion niya is ito, nagmo-move siya ng pa-curve. So, kung titignan niyo yung mga vertical lines na nilagay ko, hindi na siya parallel sa isa't isa. So, that explains na sa curvilinear motion, nakakaapekto yung pag-curve ng path para maiba yung inclination nung mga particles natin. So, ito, summary ng mga sinabi ko kanina. In rectilinear motion, the magnitude of the displacement could change but not its inclination. So ayun, since nagmo-move nga siya into straight path, um, nagbabago lamang yung magnitude of displacement niya but not its inclination since nagmo-move lang siya into straight path and walang mga curve na nangyayari. Compared dito sa curvilinear motion na nababago ang magnitude of displacement and nababago din yung inclination since dumaan na siya sa kurba or curve path kaya naiiba yung magnitude or naiiba yung inclination. And that explains na ang laking epekto na pag kumukurba yung path, naiiba yung inclination ng mga particles natin. So, dito, Isa pang example dito is kunwari, sa rectilinear motion, kunwari ito yung initial position niya, yung sa point A. And as time pass by, naiba na yung position niya, napunta na dito sa point B. And yung tinahak niyang distance na yan, yun yung tinatawag natin na change in displacement. So, ayun yung ano na sinasabi na even though mag-move siya or mag-change siya ng position sa rectilinear motion, even though mag-change siya ng position or mag-move siya, um, hindi na iiba yung inclination niya. So, dito naman compared naman dito sa curvilinear motion, kunwari ito yung initial position niya, yung point A. So, ito yung displacement niya. Ito yung displacement niya. Patawagin natin yan na SA. Tapos, as time pass by, nag-iba yung next position niya, napunta dito sa point B. So, ito naman yung, ano na niya, yung displacement niya, yung SB. So, ito yung tinasabi natin na change in displacement. Itong linyang to. Ito yung tinatawag natin na delta S. So, that proves na habang gumagalaw sa curve path, naiiba yung inclination niya. Naiiba yung inclination ng mga particles. So I guess parang na-gets na natin yung concept ng curvilinear motion. Gets na natin yung difference ng rectilinear motion and curvilinear motion. So, ano ba yung mga dapat tandaan natin? The displacement of any position is its vector distance from the origin. So, pag magme-measure tayo ng ng displacement, always tayong mag-i-start sa origin. Yan, lagi tayong mag-i-start sa origin. It is evident that the change in displacement is delta S is due to combined change in magnitude and inclination of the displacement vectors. So, the displacement S of any point can be expressed as a vector sum of x and y components. So, dito tayo sa drawing na to. So, kung i-aano natin itong drawing na to, ito yung initial position niya, yung point A. And as time pass by, napunta na dito yung position niya sa point B. So, that means na itong curve path na to, ito yung naging path niya para marating niya yung kumbaga new position niya. And 'di ba sabi ko nga kanina na pag magsusukat tayo ng displacement, always tayo mag-i-start sa origin, which is ito yung origin natin, O, yung point O. So, para masukat natin yung yung displacement ng A, ito siya. Ayan yung displacement ng A. Pangalan natin siya na SA. And sa B naman is ito naman yung displacement niya. So, note yon na parang pag magme-measure kayo ng displacement, always kayo mag-i-start sa origin. So, 'di ba nga na parang na-prove niya na due to curve path naiiba yung inclination and magnitude nung mga position natin. And para naman malaman natin yung kumbaga yung change in displacement or pinakang displacement natin, which is eto naman siya, yung delta S. Um, yung delta S na yan is due to the change of magnitude and inclination of the two vectors natin, yung SA and SB. So kumbaga, ayun yung pinakang displacement na nakuha natin. Sabi din dito, the displacement S of any point can be expressed as the vector sum of x and y components. So sabi nga, na at any point, kumbaga ito yung point, tas yung pinakang S natin is ayun yung pinakang displacement natin. So sabi doon na pwede daw nating i-express yung S natin into x and y components. Kung naalala nyo yung head-to-tail topic natin, or head-to-tail method natin sa statics, pwede natin magamit yon. And pwede natin magamit yung vector summation or vector addition, vector sum. So, pag ginamit natin yon, makukuha natin yung ganitong expression. S is equals to x plus y. Kasi di ba pag pag nag head to tail method tayo, pwede natin makuha dun yung resultant. By this, pwede natin siya makuha. Pwede natin i-express yung S into x and y components. So by that, nagka-equation tayo na S is equals to x plus y. Kung naaalala nyo yung formula ng V, ng velocity, nung mga una-una nating topic, di ba ang formula is V is equals to ds all over dt. Kung kukunin natin yung derivative nito, we will end up getting velocity, 'di ba? So v is equals to vx plus vy. So ayan, makukuha natin yung velocity niya. And kung gagawin natin ulit yung kung gagamitin natin yan ulit yung velocity na to, yung na-solve natin yan na equation na yan, kung gagamitin natin siya, pwede natin makuha yung acceleration. Kung mare-recall din yung formula ng acceleration, di ba? A is equals to dv over dt din yan. So that means, kung kukunin natin yung derivative na equation ng v, makukuha naman natin yung acceleration, which is a is equals to ax plus ay. So that proves na ang velocity and acceleration is magagamit natin all throughout this discussion. And I guess that's all for the basic concept, basic lesson for curvilinear translation. Madi-discuss pa yan all throughout this lesson. So, yung velocity acceleration and especially madi-discuss pa yan ng sobra. And as well as yung mga sketches and different parts of the graph, madi-discuss pa yan all throughout our lesson. So, um, continue watching and that's all for my part and thank you so much.
Hello everyone! Narito ako para talakayin natin yung about sa velocity components. Ano nga ba yung velocity components? At bago natin malaman yun, bago natin yung pag-usapan, kailangan muna natin maintindihan kung ano nga ba yung velocity. Yung velocity ay ang rate of change ng isang object na nasa position with respect to time in a specific direction. Sa madaling salita, sinasabi nito kung gaano kabilis gumalaw ang isang object at kung saan ito papunta. Importante ang salitang direction dahil ito ang malaking pinagkaiba ng velocity at speed. Kapag ang speed lang ang pinag-uusapan, bilis lang yung tinitingnan nun. Halimbawa, ang isang sasakyan ay tumatakbo ng 60 kilometers per hour. Pero kapag sa velocity, kailangan may kasama na yun na direction. Halimbawa, 60 kilometers per hour na pa east or 60 kilometers per hour na pa north. Dahil may magnitude at direction ng velocity, isa yung vector quantity. Yung madalas na SI unit ng velocity ay meter per second. Pwede rin natin na kunin yung velocity gamit ang formula na velocity equals displacement over time. At ngayon naman magpunta na tayo sa pinaka-topic natin, main topic natin. Yun yung velocity components. Bali ang velocity ay, di ba, vector quantity siya. Nahati siya sa dalawang bahagi. Una is yung horizontal component or yung Vx, and yung next naman is yung vertical component or Vy. Instead na yung maging isang diagonal na velocity lang i-compute natin, hinahati natin ito sa dalawang mas simple na paraan. Mas nagiging madali yung computation at analysis kapag ginagamit to, yung horizontal tsaka yung vertical na velocity na components. Pag-usapan naman natin yung about sa horizontal component. Ang formula nito is yung Vx is equal to V cosine theta, kung saan yung V is yung original velocity ng isang particle and yung theta naman is yung angle o launch angle niya. Ang horizontal component ang nagsasabi kung gaano kabilis gumalaw ang isang object, pakaliwa o pakanan, yung horizontally siya. Isang mahalagang tandaan dito ay sa projectile motion, kung walang air resistance, magiging constant yung horizontal velocity natin. Bakit nga ba? Kasi walang force na nagtutulak o humihila sa object na nagmo-move sa horizontal direction. Ang gravity is pababa lang yung epekto niya. So, bale sa vertical siya. Kaya mula umpisa hanggang dulo ang paglipad ng isang object, pareho lang ang kanyang horizontal velocity. Ito din ang dahilan kung bakit nagagamit ang Vx sa pag-compute ng horizontal distance o ng range. Next naman natin is yung vertical component ng velocity. Ang formula ng vertical component of velocity is Vy is equal to V sin theta naman. Ito naman yung nagsasabi kung gaano kabilis umaakyat o bumababa ang isang object. Ito may naapektuhan na siya ng gravity. Bali up, down, and up or downwards yung movement niya. Hindi ito katulad ng horizontal component. Ang vertical velocity ay hindi constant. Habang umaakyat ang isang object, unti-unting bumabagal ito dahil hinihila ito ng gravity. Bali hinihila siya pababa kaya nababawasan yung velocity niya pataas. Kapag umabot na naman sa pinakamataas na point yung isang object, is nagiging zero naman yung kanyang vertical velocity kapag nasa peak siya. Pagkatapos nun, magsisimula na itong mag-descend at mas bumibilis dahil yun sa gravity natin. Kaya masasabi natin na yung vertical component ang mas responsible sa taas ng naaabot ng object at sa pagbaba nito. Ito rin ang malaking pinagkakaiba ng horizontal at vertical components, bali yung movement niya. At bakit nga ba natin sinasolve yung velocity? At bakit natin yun hinahati? Bali simple lang yun. Mas madali na pag-aralan ang dalawang simpleng galaw kaysa sa isang buo siya pero komplikado. Kapag hinati natin yung velocity sa horizontal at vertical components, pwede nating pag-aralan yung bawat isa ng magkahiwalay. Sa engineering, malaking tulong ito dahil mas mabilis makukuha yung values ng distance, time, or height man at saka nung range niya. Di lang ito ginagamit sa classroom, ginagamit din ito ng mga engineers sa pag-design ng mga highways, tulay, or drainage systems at iba pang structures. Kaya napakahalaga talaga ng concept na ito lalo na sa kurso natin, yung which is yung civil engineering. Bali itong velocity components natin is marami siyang applications. And minsan tatanong natin saan nga ba yung ginagamit. Maraming bagay. Lalo na sa civil engineering, ginagamit ito sa pag-aaral ng movement ng mga sasakyan sa mga kurbadang daan. Lalo na dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, maraming curve na daan which is delikado talaga. Ginagamit din ito ng pagdedesign ng iba't ibang mga tulay at iba pa nating structures. Sa aviation, mahalaga ito para malaman ng epekto ng hangin sa garaw ng eroplano. Napakahalaga nun para sa safety na din ng mga passengers. Sa sports naman, ginagamit din ito sa basketball, volleyball, golf, at iba pang laro na may mga projectile motion. Bari gamit na gamit din talaga siya. Kahit sa computer simulations at games, ginagamit ang concept ng velocity components para mas maging realistic yung mga movement nila. Makikita din natin na hindi lang ito pang classroom, may malaking gamit din talaga siya sa ating buhay. At bilang pagtatapos, balikan natin yung mga mahalagang punto. Una, yung velocity which is yung bilis at direction, kaya ito tinatawag na isang vector quantity. Pangalawa naman is yung about sa curvilinear motion. Laging nagbabago yung direction ng object kaya nababago rin ang velocity nito. Pangatlo naman is para mas madaling pag-aralan ng galaw, hinahati natin yung velocity sa dalawang components at ang component na yun ay yung horizontal at yung vertical components. Ang horizontal component ay constant kung wala siyang air resistance habang yung vertical component naman is nagbabago dahil sa gravity. Kapag naintindihan natin yung dalawang components nito, mas nagiging madali at mas madali na nating intindihin yung projectile motion at iba pang engineering applications.
Because so the topic natin today is acceleration performance. So it's physics, the job is technology, physics, acceleration and working together. What's in the motion, motion, and communication direction. So kahit hindi na batali ng lima, is the ability or the change in direction kasi ito pero ng clear accelerator. So, first, ano naman muna tayo? What is acceleration by the table from the sense? So, acceleration describes a rate at which an object changes its velocity depending on the coordinate system. It can be broken down into specific mechanisms on this movement. The two most common methods are eventually in remote materials where curved plots and artificial components for flat plates. So when a body floats along the field path or the motion, its acceleration button is split into two perpendicular components based on a coordinate system that moves along with the object. So, kaya panagutin mo na to, hindi natin ang total na acceleration in two types. Kaya ginagawa mo ang isang object sa curve path. Ito yung tangential at normal hindi total acceleration. So, ang mga ganitong ito na yung pinagkaiba nila. So, kung unahin mo din yung tangential component or tangential acceleration. So the lunar limits only it acts as standard. So also nag-ano ang nagdamito is ito ang nagdamito ang mature na velocity or in short, these limits will exclude you under the conservative definition it measures the average magnitude of velocity or the speed and is the power. So, something important. If you speed up or slow down in a car, you feel use acceleration. So, intention acceleration is changeable. A relative change in magnitude of the velocity vector or yung speed. So, kapag ang tangential acceleration ang non-direction ng takbo, ibig sabihin nun ay inverse ka ang naging speed up. So, kapag naman pinagtag ang direction niya, sabihin, nag-take or hinahabagan ka. And if constant speed lang or steady lang yung takbo, so automatically, zero na yung tangential acceleration lang. So, ang formula naman natin is derivative lang naman po ng speed over time or derivative ng speed with respect to time. So, means wala is in normal or sa critical component. Pero na nakikita. So, ang tangential component yan acts as para na ang pag-derivative motion. So, ito nga naman represent yung change in magnitude of investigating. Kung gano'n kabilis yung object with any professional of the time for kinalaban. So, mas ito yung pangalan ng grammar. It is with normal component or use normal into the time component or normal subdivision. So, it measures the after the direction of velocity in this mean is a direction in the time of that. Say direction ng object. Kung tangential acceleration between a focus speed ng object, kung ano kabilis, at mabilis pa, pag mababa. At kung normal component, normal acceleration yun, yung focus dun sa change ng direction. So, yun nga, yung sabi ko lang yun, sabi din sa tangential acceleration. Tapos yung normal line, tapos sa pag-degree mo or sa pag-change ng direction. So, parang siyang perpendicular sa sa direction ng natin. So, lagi ito nakatulog din pag sa center of Earth. So, isipin mo lang na that it's more than sa for example sa chemistry course in amusement park and it's careful on processes again communicable. But within the study, your speed or you're looking at the constant speed or how many go active centrifugal or acceleration. Kasi ginagawa niya yung telephone. So, mga din sa statement, nag-remove curve siya. So, yun. Kapag yung alam ko, hindi ko naman, hindi ko naman kasi ito yung direction. So, ang formula naman sa para makuha yung acceleration and speed ng velocity scaled over the use of curvature values are. So, always manipulates. Isipin natin yung pag-lumabay. Tapos, inaan tayo sa curve na. So, ginagawa sa curve. So hindi ka nagkakadaan or nagsalibrit. Yung naging constant speed. So yun, zero na ang convention niya. Pero, kung siyempre ka, or siguro siya magkaroon, kasi humibigay pa. Kaya, hindi naman mo, bilisan kapag nasa gitna ka ng lupuan. Nagkakaroon ka na pareho. Yung bilis ka, ang naging projection. Siguro siya, hindi kasi naging condition. Siguro siya, at hindi naging pa rin ito season. Nagkakaroon pa rin ng normal civilization. So, yung mga civilization of perpendicular to the path, putting the inward toward the center of the picture. So, yun yung sinabi ko kanina, na virtual sila siya, just like that, na printing the inward comparts the center and curvature, or when given sa planning for. So, yung ang conventional simulation ay nakakompute sa speed of object. Ang liman simulation mo ay nagpapapos sa pag-change ng direction. So, ito-solve tayo ng sample problems unless madali maintindihan.
The next is we will be discussing the flight of projectile, the basic concept and motion characteristics. Projectile. A projectile is any body that is given an initial velocity and follow a path determined entirely by gravity and air resistance. In our model, we treat the motion as a curvilinear translation, where air resistance is neglected to analyze pure ballistic flight. Keep our initial calculation clean and manageable, we start with a key simplification. We treat the moving object as a particle undergoing curvilinear translation, while the path it follows through space is distinctly curved. We deliberately ignore any rotation or spinning of the object itself. By treating it strictly as a particle, we can focus all of our attention purely on its flight path through space. The next is the parabolic trajectory. This brings us to the geometry of the flight itself. When you observe a projectile, it is simultaneously moving forward at a constant rate and falling toward the earth faster and faster due to gravity. When you combine steady forward progress with an accelerating downward drop, the resulting path over time form a classic mathematical parabola. You can see in this slide the equation of the parabolic trajectory. This equation defines height relative to horizontal distance throughout the entire flight duration. The next is the independence of motion. Independence of motion states that the horizontal motion of a projectile is completely unaffected by its vertical motion and vice versa. The horizontal movement is dictated entirely by the initial launch speed, while the vertical movement is governed purely by gravity. Because of these two motions vector are perpendicular or 90 degrees to each other, they act as if they exist in two entirely separate worlds. This is incredibly powerful because it allows us to take a complex two-dimensional problems and break it down into two much simpler one-dimensional equations that are linked by only one common variable, time, or t. The next is initial launch mechanics. To actually solve this equation, we rely on vector decomposition. The moment a projectile is launched at an angle that theta with an initial velocity, the total velocity is split into two distinct parts, which is the horizontal components and vertical components. You can see the equation of both horizontal and vertical components. The horizontal components dictate how fast the object travels across the ground, while the vertical components determine how high the object will climb and how long it will stay airborne. This trigonometric breakdown is the literal engine that drives all trajectory analysis. Next is the horizontal motion, in the absence of it. The external forces, horizontal motion is a rectilinear uniform motion. Since 8x is equal to 0, the horizontal velocity remains constant throughout the entire flight path. Once the projectile is airborne, and assuming we are neglecting air resistance and friction, there are no horizontal forces acting on it. According to Newton's first law, an object is in motion stay in motion at a constant velocity unless acted upon by an external force. Because there is no horizontal acceleration, the projectile covers equal horizontal distances in equal intervals of time. Next is the vertical motion. In vertical motion, the projectile is in a constant battle against gravity. In this dimension, the object behaves exactly like an object in a standard free fall scenario. It experiences a constant downward acceleration due to gravity. Because gravity is a constantly pulling downward, the projectile's upward velocity slows down continuously on its way up. Momentarily comes a halt at the very top and then accelerate faster and faster as it plunges back toward the earth. The last is the apex or the maximum height. Maximum height. The apex, the highest point of the trajectory, and it serves as a vital boundary condition for our mathematical calculation. At this exact peak, the projectile's upward momentum is perfectly balanced out by gravity, meaning its vertical velocity dropped to exactly zero, like this. That's
Today, I will be discussing to you about the formulas that we can use for flight of projectiles. Firstly, let's have a look at the table showcasing the formulas that we will use in this topic. As you can see, we have these formulas that you have discussed and seen in Chapter 2, Lesson 2, concerning rectilinear motion with constant acceleration. So, today we will be incorporating these formulas with the x and y component. Uh, Take note that we would not consider any air resistance, wind velocity, and rotation of the Earth during this topic. Keep that in mind. Now, moving on to the topic, let us have a brief recap of these formulas, three equations. Equation 1 is v is equal to v sub o plus at, which is we are either finding velocity at a point or the final velocity of an object or point, which is through initial velocity plus acceleration times time. Alright? Equation 2. Now, this equation brings us distance, which is s. Okay? We find s using velocity, initial velocity times time plus 1/2 acceleration times time squared. Okay? Okay. Our third and final equation for today, as reference from chapter 2, lesson 2, is v squared is equal to v sub o squared plus 2as. Now, instead of using t or time, we will be using s, which is distance. Okay? And then when you finish this, you can use square root so you could cancel the squared. Okay? Now, you're probably asking, how do we find the x and y components of light? First, we have these two givens. Alright, let's take a look at x first. Alright, a sub x is equal to 0. Why 0? Because we are not considering air resistance, wind velocity, and rotation of the earth. So, we do not have any opposing force that is going against our acceleration. Let's say this is A. Okay, then this is air resistance. Since we have no air resistance, we have no opposite force, meaning our acceleration is a constant. Alright, remember that. Next is v sub o x is equal to velocity cosine theta. Why cosine theta? Alright, if we look at this image, we can see that this is the y component. Okay, then this is the x component. Now, we have here our theta. Alright. And since our theta is connected to the x, meaning we are respecting x, we will see this as cosine theta. Okay? Then this we can consider as sine because it is opposite. It's a sign. Okay? It's a sign na tumawid ka. Okay? Kapag tumawid ka, it's a sign. Okay? Take note. And then now, the y component. Okay. A sub y is equal to negative g. Why negative g? Why not positive g? Because in the chapter 2, lesson 3, the free fall, we consider g as positive because we are only going up and down. But now we have direction, so our acceleration is negative because gravity is always going down. Alright? Okay. Ayaw? Okay. And then our velocity y is equal to velocity sine theta. Just like I said, it's a sine. Okay? Okay. Okay. Okay, we have here the example for the what it looks like. So here we have v acceleration of y at 0, which is at the peak of the okay, of the projectile motion. Okay. Now moving on to the formula. Okay. First we have v sub x is equal to velocity of x plus a acceleration of x times time. Alright, so we will simply cancel because a sub x or acceleration for x is always 0. Okay, so now we have our final equation, which is v sub x is equal to initial velocity of x. Alright, so walang nabago sa velocity, walang nabago sa acceleration. Okay, yun lang yan. Kasi wala namang air resistance, walang wind velocity or rotation of the earth na kinoconsider. Kapag kinoconsider na kasi yun, magiging mahirap na and madami ka nang i-consider, madami ka nang kakalikutin para makagawa ng formula based sa situation. Alright? Now, our second equation, which is x. So, yung s, which is distance, pinalitan natin ng x. Why x? Kasi, from this graph, we can see that this is x. So, x. Bakit ganyan? Okay, so to understand, x is any distance that is connected with the y or within this arc, within the arc, that is x. Okay, and if we reach the maximum, this is called r, which is our maximum x or maximum arc if we are on flat grounds. Okay, meron pa kasi yung katulad nung sa free fall, di ba? May building. Tapos kapag ganyan, this is r, which is maximum ng x. Pag bumaba pa dito, iba na yan. Okay, alright. Alright, next. Same situation yun dito sa y. Pero, mamaya, explain pa natin. Okay? So, again, we now have our formula at x is equal to velocity x times time plus 1/2 acceleration of x times time squared. Okay? Now, cancel lang ulit. Bakit? Remember, a sub x is equal to 0 or acceleration of x is equal to 0. Okay? So we just cancel that out. And then we are left with our equation at x is equal to velocity of x over time, which is the distance of x within the arc. Okay? Okay. Now, our third equation, v sub x squared is equal to velocity of x squared plus 2 acceleration of x times x. Okay? X, because we have here s, and papalitan natin yung s ng x. Okay? Now, cancel lang ulit to. Bakit? Meron na namang ax. And remember, ax is equal to 0. And dahil 0 yun, you just simply cancel. Okay? Simple as that. Now, we are left with our final equation for the third equation for the x component, which is v sub x is equal to v sub o x, which is same lang dito sa same lang dito sa first equation natin. Okay? Same. So, same. Ibig sabihin, tama. Okay? Now, bakit naging Vx is equal to velocity x lang? Bakit? Saan napunta yung squared? Okay? As I said earlier, kapag kukunin na natin yung mismong value, we will simply square root. So we will cancel out the squared. Okay? Now, moving on to the y components. Alright, we have negative g as our acceleration. Okay? Always negative g. Okay? Now, we have our first equation. V sub y is equal to velocity of y plus acceleration of y times t, or velocity of y or v sub y is equal to velocity of y minus g times t. Bakit naging minus g? Okay? Like dito sa x, which is yung 0, sinubstitute lang ulit natin. Okay? Pero dito, sa y, imbes na i-cancel, we simply replace acceleration of y with negative g. As you can see. Okay? Gets? Okay. Now, next part. Ito, yung y. Bakit naging y naman yung s? Okay, punta ulit tayo dun sa graph. Now, y is any point. Any point naman na vertical. Ganyan, kung gaano kataas. Okay? Now, kapag na-reach mo naman yung max ng y, ang tawag naman dun is h. Okay? H. Which is y max. Okay? Etong R, pwede din pala tong X max motor. Okay? Now, let's move on kung bakit naging Y yun. Okay? So, now, we have Y is equal to V, or velocity of Y times T plus 1/2 acceleration of Y times T squared. Ngayon, substitute lang ulit natin. Okay? Ngayon, magiging y is equal to v sub o y times t minus 1/2 g times t squared. Okay? Ngayon, naging negative na siya kasi nga negative to. Okay? Yun lang yan. Okay? Now, we have our final and last equation for today. V sub y squared is equal to v sub O y squared plus 2 ay times y. Again, like sa x. Sundan natin yung s ng y naman this time. Kasi y component. Always remember, magkaiba ang x at y component. Hindi sila pwede magkapalit. Okay? Yun lang. Okay? Now, substituting the acceleration of y, we get v sub y squared is equal to v velocity of y squared minus 2gy. Okay? We simply substitute negative g again. Okay? Okay. Now, we are done with the showcase and the knowledge we need to know about these formulas that we will be using for flight of projectiles. Okay? That would be all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. So this is Fisherman Ambonado, and I will discuss the important notes of projectile motion. So ang projectile motion ay may dalawang motion, the horizontal and vertical motion. So nag-move siya at the same time but separate direction. So for horizontal motion, so the a sub x is equal to 0. So the horizontal motion is independent to the gravity. So since yung gravity nag-act siya only downward, so there is no horizontal acceleration. Because there is no acceleration in the horizontal direction, so yung horizontal velocity remains constant throughout the interflight. So this means the object travels the same horizontal distance every second if resistance is ignored. So for vertical motion, so the vertical motion is affected by gravity. So dependent naman siya sa gravity. So yung gravity continuously pull the object downward. So nagkakause siya ng vertical velocity to change every second. So the vertical acceleration is always a sub y is equal to negative g. So ang ng g is 9.81 and per second squared. So, yun nga, yung vertical acceleration is always ganyan siya. So, negative siya because it's downward. So, for the, ayun yung projectile motion important. Yan, yung, sa origin, yan, yung pataas is the vertical and horizontal is yung nasa 0. Yan, so, at the point A naman, so yung highest point or summit, so, at point C naman, yung horizontal velocity, nagre-remain siya as constant. So, yung vertical velocity niya, nagbibigam naman siya sa 0. So, therefore, the total velocity at the highest point is purely horizontal. So, the projectile does not stop moving, it only stop moving upward for a brief moment before descending. So, sa point B naman, ay naman yung descending motion. At point, yan. Yan yung point A, yung highest point. Yan, highest point, or your height, okay? So, for the point B, so after reaching the highest point naman, nag-gravity, nagkakause siya ng projectile to fall. Yan, pababa. Yan, sa point B. Down, going down na siya. So, yung horizontal velocity is still constant pa din. So, yung vertical velocity naman, nagiging negative siya because nga yung object niya is pababa. So, sa point C naman, sa point C, same level naman siya as origin. Naman, when the projectile returns naman to the same height from which it was launched. So, yung horizontal dito, horizontal velocity is still unchanged. Then, yung vertical velocity niya naman has the same magnitude as the initial vertical velocity but in the opposite direction. So, this means the projectile is moving downward at the same speed that is originally moved upward. Ayan. Nakita natin dun. Sa point C. Yan. So, yung key takes away natin, yung a sub x is equal to 0, yung a sub y is equal to negative 3. Always yan. Negative gravity. So, v sub x is stay constant. Yung v sub y natin, nag-change with time. So, at the top, yung v sub y natin is equal to 0. So, same level, same speed, opposite vertical sign. Tapos yung formula. Yan yung mga gagamit natin formula sa projectile motion. And that's it for my report. Thank you.
Ngayon naman, para mas maintindihan natin kung paano nga ba ginagamit yung velocity components, magsagot tayo ng isang sample problem. Bali yung problem natin is, a ball is thrown with an initial velocity of 25 meters per second at an angle of 30 degrees above the horizontal. Determine the horizontal and vertical components of the initial velocity. Bali, ang una natin gagawin is i-analyze na muna natin yung problem. Una, basahin muna natin na mabuti yung problem. Bali, may isang bola na inihagis na mayroong initial velocity na 25 meters per second at meron siyang angle na 30 degrees mula sa horizontal. Bali, ang hinahanap sa problem na ito is yung horizontal component at yung vertical component ng initial velocity. So, bago tayo mag-solve, kailangan muna nating tukuyin yung mga given at yung kung ano yung required. Bali, ang mga given natin is initial velocity o v is equal to 25 meters per second. Angle or theta is equal to 30 degrees. At ang required naman is horizontal velocity component or yung Vx and yung vertical velocity component or Vy. And since malinaw na yung given at yung required natin, mas madali na natin malalaman kung anong formulas ang dapat natin gamitin. And una natin gagawin is isolve muna natin yung sa horizontal component. Unahin natin siya. Bali, ang formula na gagamitin natin is yung Vx is equal to V cosine theta. Bakit nga ba cosine yung ginagamit? Dahil sa trigonometry, ang horizontal component ay ang adjacent side ng angle at ang adjacent side ay yung gumagamit ng cosine. Ngayon, isubstitute natin ang mga values. Vx is equal to 25 times cosine 30 degrees. Kapag kinuha natin ang cosine ng 30 degrees gamit yung calculator, ang magiging value nito is 0.866. Ngayon is i-multiply natin. 25 times 0.866 is equal to 21.65. Kaya bali ang horizontal velocity component natin is Vx is equal to 21.65 meters per second. Ang ibig sabihin nito is gumalaw yung bola sa horizontal direction ng 21.65 meters bawat segundo. And next naman natin na isosolve is yung vertical component. Bali, ang formula naman nito is Vy is equal to V sin theta. Bakit naman sin? Dahil ang vertical component ay ang opposite side ng angle at sa trigonometry, ang opposite side ay gumagamit ng sin. Ang gagawin natin is i-substitute natin yung values. Vy is equal to 25 times sin 30. Bali, alam na natin na ang sin ng 30 degrees ay 0.5. Kaya bali, 25 times 0.5 is equal to 12.5 or 12.50. Kaya ang vertical velocity component natin is Vy is equal to 12.50 meters per second. Ibig sabihin, sa umpisa ng paglipad ng bola, ang bilis nito paakyat ay 12.5 meters per second. And habang tumataas yung bola, babagal ang vertical velocity dahil sa gravity hanggang sa maging zero ito sa pinakamataas na point or sa peak niya. Bali, ang final answer na nakuha natin is yung horizontal velocity component or yung 21.65 meters per second, and yung vertical velocity component naman or yung Vy is equal to 12.50 meters per second. So ngayon, anong ibig sabihin ng dalawang values na ito? Hindi ibig sabihin na dalawang magkaibang velocity ang meron ng bola. Ang 25 meters per second ay ang original o initial velocity niya. Hinati natin ito sa dalawang directions para mas madaling pag-aralan ng galaw ng bola. Ang 21.65 meters per second ay ang bilis nito sa horizontal direction niya habang yung 12.50 naman is yung bilis nito sa vertical direction. Ginagamit ang dalawang components nito sa pag-compute ng iba pang values tulad ng maximum height, time of flight at horizontal range ng sa projectile motion. And bali sa sample problem na ito, nakita natin kung paano natin ginagamit yung formulas na Vx is equal to V cosine theta at Vy is equal to V sin theta. Sa pamamagitan ng paghahati ng velocity sa horizontal at vertical components natin, is mas nagiging simple talaga at madaling i-analyze yung curvilinear or yung projectile motion. At bali yun lang po yung
We have here our sample problem. A ball is thrown upwards at a 45-degree angle with a velocity of 100 meters per second. Determine the position of the ball and its resultant velocity after 10 seconds. How high will it rise? So, meron tayong situation dito na meron daw ball. Okay, merong ball. Binato upwards at 100 meter per seconds at an angle or theta of 45 degrees. This is our x and this is our y. Okay? Now, we have our given of initial velocity of 100 meter per seconds, theta which is 45 degrees, time which is 10 seconds, then g or gravity which is 9.81 meter per second squared. Itong gagamitin natin na gravity because merong given na meter per seconds, meaning metric ang gagamitin. Okay? Take note, metric. Next, we will have to find the position of the x and y. So, meron tayo dito. Position of the ball, which is determined by the resultant of the x and y components. Okay? We have here another problem. That is the resultant velocity after 10 seconds. Okay? So, we have here v after 10 seconds. Now, our third and final problem, how high will it rise? So, we are pertaining to the maximum height, which is h. Now, let us go on to the first problem, the position of the x and y. We will now be using the formula x is equal to v sub o x times time, which is the second equation of the x component. Okay? Now, we just simply substitute. Take note, v sub ox is equal to 100 cosine 45. Okay? Then, v sub oy is 100 sine 45. It's a sine. Okay? Now, we just simply substitute 100 cosine 45 degrees times time, which is 10 seconds. Okay? Now, let us compute. So, 100 cosine 45 degrees times 10. Okay? We have here our x at 707.11 meters. Okay? Bakit naging meters na lang? Because this is meter per second, this is seconds. We just simply cancel, and then we have m. Okay? Next. Now, let us find our y component. We will be using also the second equation for the y component, which is y equal to velocity of y times time minus 1/2 of gravity times time squared. Okay, now let us simply substitute. So y is equal to velocity of y, which is 100 sine 45 degrees. Okay, then times time, also 10 seconds, again minus, so we have 1/2, then gravity, so we have 9.81, sorry, then we have time, so 10 squared. Okay, now let us put this into the calculator. 100 sine 45 times 10 minus 1/2, okay, times 9.81 times 10 squared. Okay, and we have our y at 216.61 meters. Okay, again have here meter per second squared of seconds meter per second squared, so cancel, this is squared, so this is technically squared, so cancel, we have left meter. Okay, now that we have our x and y, we can now determine the position. We can find the position of the ball, okay, after 10 seconds. Okay, now let us do an position. So let's just do square root of x squared plus y squared. So position 10 seconds. Okay, let's just use p for now for as position, physical position. So substitute. Okay, root of 707.11 squared plus 216.61 meters squared. Okay, now we should have our position after 10 seconds, which is square root of 707.11 squared plus 216.61 squared. Okay, now we have our position of the ball at 739.54 meters. Okay, that's it. Okay, now that we have our position, we will now find the resultant velocity. Okay, resultant velocity, so we will be using the first equation, which is of x, which is vx is equal to velocity of x. So simply substitute. So velocity of x is equal to 100 cosine 45. Okay, and then we have our v, y, velocity of y minus gravity times time, which is also the first equation of the y component. Now let us substitute. So Vy is equal to velocity, so 100 sine 45 degrees minus 0.81 times time, 10 seconds. Okay, now let us compute. So 100 sine 45 degrees minus 0.81 times 10. Okay, so velocity of y is equal to negative 27.39 meter per second. Okay, so we have here meter per second squared, second, only one s, so we are left with meter per second. Okay, then now v of x is equal to 100 plus sine 45 degrees, which is t square root of 2 or 70.71 meter per seconds. Okay, now for the resultant velocity, let us add up the velocity of x and y. Okay, again, like the position, we will just simply square root velocity of x squared plus velocity of y squared, which we will substitute now. So we have 20.71 squared plus negative 27.39 squared. Okay, so makakancel lang to kapag in-squared na, so it's all positive. Now, square root of 70.71 squared plus negative 27.39 squared. Here we have our resultant velocity, which is 75.83 meter per seconds. Okay, take note, ito pala, bakit naging negative pala to yung velocity of y? Simply telling us na na-reach na niya yung peak. So yan. Yeah, okay, it's the ball. So na-reach na niya yung peak, and then ngayon, let's say nandito na siya. Yung negative 27.39 meter per second. So pababa na siya galing sa h. Yan na yung hanapin natin. Sunod. Okay, just box this. Now we will be finding the maximum height of our ball. Okay, now let us give the value of Vy equals 0. Kasi bakit 0? Kasi di ba kapag nasa peak, nasa pinakatuktok na, Vy is always equal to 0. And then doon, nagsisimula kung bakit nagiging negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, hanggang maging negative 27.39. Okay? Now, we give velocity of y is equal to 0. Now, we have velocity of x, which is equal to velocity of x. And also, dahil hindi natin kino-consider yung resistance, wind velocity, rotation of the earth, walang kakontra dito. So, stay the same. So, now, our final velocity or velocity is equal to v sub o x. Okay, now let us input our formula, which is the third formula of the y component, which is v sub y squared is equal to v sub o y squared minus 2 gravity. Instead of y, we will be using h. Okay, Wag lang kayo malito doon. Kasi h lang naman is maximum height, which is maximum y. So, y max. Okay? Now, let us substitute. So, v sub y is equal to 0. So, 0. Kahit squared pa yan, 0 yan. Now, v sub o y, which is, yung gagawin natin dyan, ang ilalagay natin dyan is, itong v. Substitute natin yan. So, yan, magiging v, kasi wala na tayong, wait. V sub OY pala. Okay, my bad. Sorry. Okay, so, V sub OY squared. So, substitute natin yung V sub OY. So, 100 sine 45 degrees squared. Okay. Minus 2. Then gravity, 9.81. Which is... it will give us the H. Hindi ko alam may compute ng ano-ano. Kapag walang calculator. Pero, let's transpose this. So, now we have 2 times 9.81 times H is equal to 100 sine 45 degrees squared. Okay. Now divide both sides by 2, 9.81 to 9.81. Okay, so cancel. Now we have 100 sine 45 degrees squared all over 2 times 9.81. And we have our H at 2.55 meters. Ooh. Isn't that too low? Let us recheck. Okay, let's try shift solve. Okay, so 0 is equal to 100 sine 45 degrees squared minus 2 9.81. Okay, now let us solve for each. May na-misinput ata ako. But this is not the correct answer. I recheck with shift solve. We have our maximum height or H at 254.84 meters high. I am sorry for the confusion. May nagawa lang ata akong mali dito. I'm sorry. But with that, we have completely answered the position after 10 seconds, the velocity after 10 seconds, and the maximum height. That is all for the sample problem. Let me know.
Dako naman tayo sa ating sample problem. So, a ball is kicked with an initial velocity of 20 ms at an angle of 30 degrees above the horizontal. Neglect the air resistance. So, ang hahanapin natin dito is yung the horizontal velocity, the vertical velocity, the time of flight, the maximum height, and the horizontal range. Ayan. Ayan yung picture. Ayan yung bola. So, papaganyan siya. Ayan. And yun sa highest point and on the way down, tapos yung same level ng origin. Yung point C. So, yung given natin, so yung initial velocity is equal to 20 ms. So, yung launch angle nyo naman is 30 degrees. So, yung gravity is 9.81 m per second squared. Yan. So, for the horizontal velocity, yan, substitute lang natin siya sa ating formula. So, V x is equal to V initial cosine theta. So, pag horizontal, ang gagamitin natin ay cosine. So, yan, 20 times cosine 30 degree is 20 times 0.866. So, final answer natin dito is 17.32 ms per second. So, for our vertical velocity naman, so yung v sub y is equal to initial sine theta. So, pag vertical velocity or nandun siya sa direction ng y-axis natin is, ang gagamitin natin is yung sine. So, 20 sine 30 degree. So, sine 30 degree is equal to 0.5. So, 20 times 0.5 is equal to 10 ms per second. So, ang final answer natin dito is 10 m per second. Next one is the time of flight. So, yung formula na gagamitin natin dito is t is equal to 2 times vy over gravity. So, substitute lang natin yung mga values. So, 2 times 10 over 9.81. So, nakuha natin yung vy. So, yung vy is yan, 10 ms. So, times natin siya. So, 2 times 10 over 9.81. So, ang final answer na makuha natin dito is 2.04 seconds. Next one is yan, the maximum height naman. So, yung formula na gagamitin natin dito is yung h is equal to v sub y times 2 over 2g. Yan. Substitute lang natin siya. So, h is equal to 10 times 2 over 2 times 9.81. So, 10 times 2 is 100. So, divide natin sa 19.62. So, 2 times 9.81 is 19.62. So, h is equal to 5.10 meter. For the horizontal range naman, then last one, and gamit nating formula is r is equal to v sub x times t. So, 17.32 times 2.04. Substitute lang natin siya sa formula. So, ang final answer na makukuha natin dito is 35.3 meter. So, yeah. That's all for my sample problem. Thank you.
So, ngayon, dako naman tayo sa practice problem, or sa sample problem. Boat A moves with a constant velocity of 20 feet per second. Starting from the position shown in figure 1112, find the theta, or angle, in order for the projectile to hit the boat 5 seconds after starting. Under the conditions given, how high is the hill above the water? So, una natin gawin, ilagay natin dito kung ano ba yung mga hinahanap and isulat na natin kung ano yung mga given. Natin dito is yung theta as well as yung h or yung height. Yung height, how high is the hill above the ground, so yung height. So, next na natin isulat yung given, mga givens. Meron tayo initial velocity na 96.6 feet per second. Meron tayong velocity, may constant velocity tayo ng boat. Lagyan natin siya as VC na 20 feet per second. And meron tayong time, I believe meron tayong time na 5 seconds. Ito siya. Meron tayong time na 5 seconds. So, ano una natin gagawin? I-assume natin na ito ay point B. So, ang goal kasi natin dapat ihanapin natin yung theta in order for the projectile to hit the boat. So, i-assume natin na nandito na yung boat. So, kailangan nating i-solve ito. Tawagin natin tong delta S. So, paano ba natin yan i-solve? So, delta S is equals to yung constant velocity or lagyan natin na VC times time. So, makukuha natin dyan is 20 times 5. So, ang delta S natin ay 100 feet. So, 100 feet. So, ngayon, ang next naman natin gawin, kumbaga, ano natin to, i-consider natin to as isa. Tawagin natin yang x. Tawagin natin yang x. Ayan. So, solve for x tayo. Paano ba gagawin natin dyan? I-add lang natin sila dalawa. So, x is equals to 100 plus 301. So, x is equals to 401 feet. So, ayan. Meron na tayong x. So, pwede na nating Since may x na tayo, nadagdagan na yung given natin, pwede na nating isipin kung ano ba yung formula na pwede natin magamit para masolve natin yung theta. So, kung titignan natin yung mga given natin, meron tayong x, meron tayong initial velocity, meron tayong time. Pwede natin gamitin yung formula na x is equals to vox t, di ba? Kasi may x tayo, may initial velocity tayo, may time tayo. Pag ginamit natin siya, pwede natin ba solve yung theta? Kasi, um, one equation, one unknown. So, solve natin siya. I-substitute natin. 401 feet is equals to 96.6 cos, yung theta, yung hinahanap natin, times 5, kasi 5 seconds. So, pag ganyan, parang mahihirapan tayo, di ba? So, i-ano natin siya, i-simplify natin siya. Gawin natin cos theta is equals to 401 feet all over 96.6 times 5. So, ang masasolve natin dyan na cos sin theta ay 0.0.8302. So, solve for theta naman tayo. So, lipat lang natin yung cosine sa kabila. Solve lang natin yung theta. Lipat natin sa kabila. Magiging cos arc sine. Magiging 0.8302. So, masasolve natin yung theta na 33.88 degrees. So, ayun yung theta natin. So, since may theta na tayo, madali na natin mahanap yung height. So, lipat tayo sa kabilang slide. So, meron na tayong theta na 33.88 degrees. Since madami na tayong given, meron na tayong initial velocity, meron tayong time, meron tayong theta. So, pwede nating masolve yung height gamit yung formula y is equals to VO YT minus 1 half ng g t squared. Since yung t naman, constant naman yan. Pag metric ay 9.81, pag English ay 32.2. So, I believe English siya. Yan, English siya. So, pwede natin siya i-solve. So, y is equals to 96.6 sine, gamitin natin yung theta na yan, 33.88 degrees, tas times 5, minus 1 half, ay 1 half yan, 1 half ng 32.2 kasi English times 5 squared. So, masasolve na natin yung yung y natin na negative 133.25 feet. Or pwede natin siya isulat na y is equals to 133.25 feet below the peak of the hill. So, ayun yung sagot natin. So, kung babalikan natin yung drawing natin, so itong angle na to, kailangan daw ng 33.88 degrees para pag dumating dito yung boat, tatamaan siya. Nung projectile. And ito naman, simula dito hanggang dito, ito yung tinatawag natin na y or h. That means ito ay 133.25 feet. So, I guess that's all. Nasagutan natin lahat ng questions. Thank you so much.
So we have here a simple problem. A race car is driving around a circular track that has a radius of 100 meters. At the exact moment, the car is moving at a speed of 20 meters per second. The driver steps on the gas pedal, causing the car speed to increase at a steady rate of 3 meters per second squared. What is the magnitude of the car's total acceleration at this exact moment? So we are looking for the magnitude of the car's total acceleration. So we have here the illustration. We have the circular track, the race car, and then the radius, which is 100 meters. And we all know na ang normal acceleration is perpendicular siya sa center ng circular path. And then, kita rin dyan yung tangential acceleration, which is 3 meters per second squared. And ang velocity ng car, which is 20 meters per second. So, ilinis naman natin yung given. So, ang given ay 20 meters per second ang velocity. Ang radius naman is 100 meters. And ang tangential acceleration natin is 3 meters per second squared. So, ano ba yung mga hinahanap? Ang hinahanap natin ay normal acceleration din. Kasi kailangan natin siya para makompute yung magnitude ng total acceleration. Then, yung hinahanap pa natin na isa is yung magnitude ng total acceleration. So, ang formula na gagamitin natin ay yung formula ng normal acceleration or ng normal component na a sub n is equals to velocity squared over radius. And then, yung formula para makuha yung magnitude ng total acceleration is square root of tangential acceleration squared plus normal acceleration squared. So, solution, i-input natin yung velocity, which is yung 20 meters per second, squared over radius, which is 100 meters. And ang makukuha natin normal acceleration is 4 meters per second squared. Next is yung kukunin na natin yung magnitude ng total acceleration ng car. I-input natin siya doon sa formula. So, tangential acceleration natin ay 3 meters per second squared plus 4 meters yung nakuha natin kanina. 4 meters per second squared yung nakuha natin yung normal acceleration. And pag in-input natin sa calcul, ang makukuha natin value ng acceleration, ang magnitude ng total acceleration ay 5 meters per second squared. So, lagi lang tatandaan na ang tangential acceleration ay nakafocus sa speed ng velocity vector. And ang normal component or ang centripetal component ay nakafocus sa direction, ang particular direction ng object. So, yun lang. I hope may natutunan kayo. Thank you.
Try naman natin mag-solve ng sample problem. A projectile is fired up the inclined plane at an initial velocity of 15 meter per second. The plane is making an angle of 30 degrees from the horizontal. If the projectile was fired at 30 degrees from the incline, compute the maximum height or z or z measured perpendicular to the incline that is reached by the projectile. Neglect air resistance. So this is our given. The initial velocity is 15 meter per second. The inclined and firing angle is 30 degree. So, compute natin muna yung horizontal component and vertical component. Naging 60 degree siya kasi pinag-plus natin yung inclined angle tsaka firing angle. So, 60 degree. So, initial velocity ng horizontal is 15 cos 60 degree is equal to 7.5 meter per second. The vertical is initial velocity ng vertical 15 sine 60 degree is equal to 12.99 meter per seconds. Wala na naman tayo ng solution. Sa solution naman. Ito yung ito naman yung diagram ng sinabi ko kanina, yung incline tsaka firing angle. So, nakikita nyo naman. So, VA sub x is equal to initial velocity ng horizontal. So, same sila ng 7.5 meter per seconds. Dun sa ano naman, vertical ng VA is equal to 7.5 tan 30 degrees equal to 0.4 4.33 meter per seconds. So, kunin naman natin si time. Gamitin natin tong equation na to. So, 4.33 is equal to 12.99 minus 9.81 tas times time. Substitute lang natin yung mga sinold natin kanina. Tas yung 9.81 ay ano, parang standard siya ng gravity. So, compute, eto na, time is equal to 8828 seconds. So, kunin naman natin si x or si horizontal. So, ito yung equation niya. Tapos, substitute natin 7.5 times 0 times which is 0.8828. Ito yung nakuha na 6.62 meter. Tapos kunin naman natin ngayon si y using this equation. Substitute natin yung mga kinuha. 4.33 squared is equal to 12.99 squared minus 2 times the gravity which is 9.81 times natin si y. So, na-compute natin, ito na yung kinalabasan, ito ito ang lumabas kay y, which is 7.64 meter. Kunin naman natin si acceleration using this formula, yung x tan 30 degree. So, substitute natin yung si x na 6.62 tan 30 degree is equal to 3.82 meter. So, kunin na natin yung pinakang hinahanap, which is yung maximum height using this formula. So, substitute. So, C is equal to y minus a cos 30 degree. So, substitute natin yung mga kinuha na solve natin kanina. So, 7.64 minus 6.82 times cos 30 degree. So, pinaka-maximum height natin is 3.31 meter.